Oh, it's at night. Okay, right. Interesting. This is going to be fun. So that's going to be low range detection in jets. Okay, I've never had a night time confrontation in jets before, so this is going to be interesting. For one, look at the exhaust. Doesn't that look magnificent? Doesn't that look sick? Right, we'll turn that off. I have no idea if that improves efficiency or detection or anything, but in my view, visually it does. It's darker. Right, so one supersonic and one supersonic. Oh, there's a few Skyblazers here as well. Okay, that's interesting. So I'm conscious we have friendly areas around here, so this is kind of where arcade overlaps into realistic, because you're trying to spot movement because of the detection being reduced. Bearing in mind it's trying to be at night. Whoa, and there's a whole swarm going on down there. I suppose we best give a hand. Look at them all. Oh wow. Guys, we need to respond to this. Our MiG-19 concerns. Hopefully our F-100 can give us a hand. There we go. See something over there? See an exhaust? Closing in hot. We're just going to go for a quick gun run and we're going to get out. Oh, bad angle. Get out while we can. We have the speed. Stand by to make another pass. Okay, we'll target the FJ4. He's rolling it, and he's down. Okay, fine. No shot. MiG-19. Okay, stand by. Okay, we'll keep going. High speed, we'll go after the MiG-15. It's going to be a head-to-head. Don't see him. We've got some dents. Stand by. Okay, he's continuing to fly forwards. Okay, we're just short of 800. F-86, hot on the old tail. Fail to shoot. We're rolling around. Oh, there's someone else on the tail. Okay, he's down. Let's roll it. There's a cliff there. Oh god. Right, okay, MiG-17 coming in fast. We are very slow. Let's head down. He's rolling around. Okay, I think he's too busy. He's busy. Am I looking at a cliff edge? Yeah, it kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Okay, we'll reload and we'll regain some Energy and speed again. Get some hits to our elevator section. A few holes, but not too bad. Okay, now we need altitude really. That exhaust looks so good though. Okay, let's get ourselves at least up to 600. ZF-86 actually. Just level off. MiG-19 coming in hot, but he's going after the F-100. That's a good sign. MiG-17 again. This is the guy we were going after earlier. Okay, we'll dive ourselves. Back up the speed. He's rolling. I don't think he's seen me. No, he's rolling away. Okay, he's good, good. He's down. Gone over to the left. Got some hits. Okay, aircraft is down. Stand by. I've got a fuel leak. We need to get out of here. Am I hear an air inside? Oh, I'm over an airfield, that's why. Well, helicopter bit. Well, no, I suppose it could be an airfield if you got a very light aircraft. Okay, so I'm concerned that my detection is going to be higher with the contrails. On the other hand, I'm going to be lighter, more manoeuvrable. The damage is pretty superficial, apart from the fuel tank being ruptured. Because it's not obvious which fuel tank is damaged. It's not all of them, and it's not too bad. Once it stops leaking. Okay, tell you what, we'll reload and we'll consider our options. Now, where that MiG-19? Left high. I don't even know where our airfield is. Oh, I see. It's over here. I think we'll see how it goes. We seem to have a hold of the situation. Maybe as I'm ringing the dinger bell. Let's see what happens. We're at a fast speed. I'm running out of the aircrafts. Okay, we'll give this guy some support. See, he's rolling around. Good, this is good. Scored some hits. We're rolling over, rolling over. There's two of them. Stand by. Which way are they rolling? That is the question. It's probably not the best of ideas. Let's head this way, nose down, get some speed, and stand by. Okay, they're rolling over to the left. Let's see how long. Okay, F9F. Okay, helium's down. We'll reload and stand by for further support. Fuel check, 11 minutes on the clock. We're still doing okay. And they're running out of vehicles. We'll try and get our speed up again. That's mid-19. We'll keep our eyes open because it could do sneaky moves being it's dark. It kind of feels on. Okay, right, okay. We have a serious target. Keep the poser correct. Don't go after the fellow aircraft. This is the guy we want. Happy with assist. Okay, we'll bring her around slowly. We want to keep that energy up. Right, now, next option. Okay, he's being destroyed. Just going to take it away from their airfield a little bit. Concerned they may try to flank. Ten minutes of fuel remain. Anybody see anything? Yeah, hold on. Okay, let's roll it around. Nah, we just didn't quite get the time. Okay, well, good show. So, my opinion of jet-to-jet air combat at night. Well, I'm rather impressed. I like how it plays out. It really keeps you on your toes. It becomes less of a range thing and more of a you got to use your own initiative, and you really got to consider what your next move is. And that really brings me back to almost a match in generic propeller aircrafts. That was what that brought me back to. So we got 4 kills, and we didn't quite get a 5th, so we're technically not an ace, but that don't matter. More to the point, we've kept the repair cost down and made a lot of money, so that's happy. The less aircraft you go through, the better. The more economically viable it's going to be for you. So, the more you can perform with one aircraft, the better is what I say. I think that was also a prime example of a team coordinating with each other. Almost like this unspoken expectation. Not from the perspective that there's any dialogue between the fellow players as team members, but what we've done is that it's quite clear to me in that match that generally a lot of the players were thinking about their situational awareness, changing their play style and taking different courses of action based off of what our other team members were doing, where they were at, where the hostiles were, concentrating our focus around the main areas where we were required to be. And it just worked. And some matches will just work like that, and others it doesn't work like that at all. This is what's really interesting. It's almost like a human experimentation. It's almost like putting people in a random room and just seeing how they react together. We're all being put in similar BR-rated vehicles, put on a team, and then we're just left to it, just to see how it pans out. And in that case, that's a prime example of where all of the players on our team rallied together and worked really efficiently. And from what I was seeing from the other team, they seem to be fairly coordinated as well. I don't think they were the most coordinated team that I've seen. I do think there were options they could have taken that they decided not to. But I did see some elements of them working together as well. It was just, unfortunately for them, it didn't work out for them this time. And at the end of the day, you're not necessarily going to win them all. Even if you're the most efficient cooperative team ever, that's only half the battle. Pardon the pun, so to speak. Having that coordination really helps, and it improves your odds, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're still going to win. And as for the other side, unfortunately, they was not successful this time. But I couldn't be more pleased with how that worked out. I had a lot of fun flying at night, which is it's really, really weird. There's this huge contrast going on. If you watched my previous streams and previous videos, you would have noticed that I've been explaining the pros and the cons and the main differences between going from a piston propeller-driven aircraft to then the jet age and obviously tier 5 versus something like tier 4, and the differences and challenges you need to overcome. And there's this other funny contrast that I have found, where I really enjoy daytime tier 4 aircraft to aircraft confrontation. That is really challenging. It's good fun, keeps you on your toes. When I get a night match, I'm not a fan at all. It doesn't work. I don't find it's as engaging. I can't quite put my finger on why. I think it becomes even more of an emphasis of who can jump on who when it comes to tier 4 at night or lower at night, which can also be exacerbated if you've got hostile aircrafts using ammunition like stealth ammunition belts, which therefore don't have traces. And then if you add weather into the mix as well, and cloud cover, it could become quite a difficult mix in order to basically work with. Whereas in the comparison, when it comes to jets at night, I actually think that was a much more diverse way of playing at tier 5 from what I've experienced so far. And I just think one possibility could be the fact that obviously there is there is the jet exhaust, and it does provide a little, it's like a tiny little glint. It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb, but it's just a subtle little additional aspect that you can train your eye to look out for. And that was exactly what I did. Prime example of being a good pilot is able to be, you know, adaptable in whatever situation you were given, especially if you're looking at, you know, an Air Force role, whatever type of aircraft, helicopter, whatever, anything that flies. You've got to be able to be adaptable on the fly. So that's what I did. First night battle, I was adaptable and noticed immediately the exhaust was a huge giveaway. Well, not a huge giveaway, but it was an advantage. So that was what I did. I looked out for these tiny little exhaust contrails, and that helped in identifying hostile aircrafts. Now, what would be really interesting is obviously if it was a simulator battle, which is, you know, as close to real life as you can get, you would have no way of distinguishing who is friend from foe. For instance, you know, if it was real life, you would have to tell from what country the aircraft type that they're operating from versus who you were going up against. So if you see yourself an American Sabre versus a MiG, in that dark, you're not going to be able to tell who is who until you get literally right on their behinds. And then you might be able to tell whether you're actually going after a friendly or you're going after a hostile. And only then can you think about actually targeting and shooting. But anyway, I digress. Main point being, I think nighttime jet gameplay works really, really well. And it was really engaging in comparison to what it is at nighttime with propeller-driven aircraft.